Hey, hey, hey. Let me tell you, I am stuffed to the muff with wontons. Did y'all join me in spirit? Did y'all join me in dinner in spirit? Join me with dinner in spirit and dinner. Did you guys eat dinner or supper? Because I did, and I am full and tired, but I wanted to talk. I'm like, I really think I need to talk about this race thing because I'm seeing a bit online and it's a little scary. I'm a little scared of what the interwebs is saying about race. And it's like, I mean, that kind of has been the big theme here of Sammy Sam, somehow, unbeknownst to her until the very end. Maybe I should touch on that a little bit. I keep mentioning this racial draft. I wanted to talk about music and autism, like what? Because I posted a video of my son. He keeps me up to date of like how many subscribers I have and how many videos. He's very, I mean, talk about ADHD. It runs in the blood. Autism. They say comes from ADHD parents. How bizarre! How bizarre! Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about, but I guess I'll touch a bit on the race thing, and maybe this will help clear some people's minds. Or really, guys, I don't know. But here's the gist. Okay, Sammy Sam, Sister Sam, grew up believing to be Caucasian on the outside. I've mentioned my mom's side is full blown Italian. Like they came from the boat and all, and had to learn English at night school and work their ass off and all that stuff. On my dad's side, he's a Tory, would be Italian. His dad, my grandpa, is Italian, but my grandma is German, or really Austrian, I believe, is after I did a little bit of research and like, oh, given the history of World War II, like that's a terrible combo, Sam. Italian and German, you're mean. That's not good. That's terrifying. But just so yeah. So I mean, but in my soul, I've mentioned this thing called soul before. A soul just knows what they are and aren't. We talk about the LGBTQ and things. A man feels like a woman feels like a man. I felt like I wasn't white. Like, not to mention I grew up in Hackensack, New Jersey, which is just very mixed religions, mixed race. There's like, we'd have like I had everything. I learned like there's a kid who was Islamic who like he couldn't eat like after we'd have gym time and it'd be lunch, he'd like have to go to the computer room because he couldn't eat like Ramadan. Why can't Darwish eat? Like what kind of why? What's wrong with his parents? So I was exposed to like mixed racial and just mixed views of things, but I don't think that's necessary to be human. Like you shouldn't have to be exposed to those things to not be racist. It's like I've mentioned in my how to be smarter and better than people, like if you're judging something that you don't know, that's your problem. That's not the world's problem to teach you. Yeah, you can notice differences. Like I've never been the type of person that's like, I don't see color. I just see people. Well, you're lying to yourself, ma'am or sir, because I do see color and I do see difference, but I don't discriminate because of that, Profile maybe. No, like, as far as racist humor goes, I love a good racial stereotype, that goes for all races because a lot of them are true. but I've always felt like I had more soul than the average white person, I just, I've even joked with like some friends before, like, dude, I think deep down I'm just a black man at heart. It's how I feel. It's just how it is, how it be. So I don't know where that confused. I mean, like I said, if you have to if you have to be exposed to differences in the world. That was the wontons talking. Did you guys hear that? I don't know what to tell you. I don't think it's necessary, but I mean it didn't hurt me in any way to be exposed to, like, again, different races and different religious views. Like I said, I grew up with Jewish people, hardcore Italian Catholic, witchy people, atheists, Islamic, all of a melting pot. I don't like, and I'm not racist against white people either. Let's clear that out of the way. I mean, do you see my son? It's like, although I've always joked about blue eyes. I've always joked about people with blue eyes, calling them blue-eyed devils, because it's a joke, guys. Like, chill, chill. All right, Sammy Sam is not racist, even to her own kind. Although, like, come to find out, they've been quite racist against me. So, as far as using things that people close to me, using things that they like about me, but they're not giving me credit for them. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like a familiar story in history? Because it sure is relatable to me. I can certainly relate. Maybe not on a skin tone level, but on an internal heart, soul level, I feel it, So let's get to the letter, U, and this whole stupid vowel thing, because as Sister Sam has mentioned in her religious blip video, the information that I've stumbled upon is accessible to anybody. I've mentioned the Cathars and my connection to them. If you go to my YouTube, I have a playlist of regular songs and then one for Cathars. It's called the Cathar Hymn, and it goes, it's supposed to be healing to the chakras. It's sound healing, okay? But as Sammy Sam does, Sister Sam, Sammy Sam, she digs deeper, okay? Again, contrary to unpopular belief, Samantha likes to do her research. So I've come across this thing called the Great Vowel Shift. Vowels, if you're spiritual and you had been going within, you would learn the importance of vowels. I'm not going to get into it now, okay? But I did, and that was from the Cathars, okay? That's how it started for me. But again, if you're spiritual or religious, vowels at some point should you learn this, okay? If not, then go within, go within, guys. Chemistry, I believe, right? In chemistry, AU is gold, is it not? It's like, I have channel notes on this, all of this, about the divine feminine being gold, okay? I don't know how to explain it without I'd have to get into a whole video, but just trust that Samantha got here to that conclusion, okay? Years ago, guys. So, and as far as Lemuria, or Mu, the continent of Mu, I learned that through, I've mentioned Chiron, of magnetic service. He is a man that channels this being called Chiron and of magnetic service, and talks about Lemuria. But again, if you're spiritual, you would come across the whole concept of Atlantis, and you should also come across the concept of Mu, or Lemuria. This is again available to anyone who, there's no special, like, there's nothing about me that made it, secret knowledge or anything. So where the, again, I don't, whatever. So I've known about Mu and I've known about Lemuria, and I've always resonated with the concept of Lemuria. I've always resonated with the concept of Atlantis because that's where what you associate with, like, lost island, lost civilizations and things like that. But when I learned about Lemuria, I'm like, oh no, that sounds like more like my people, The race or no race, just their soul, their focus, where their focus lied. Okay? So now you get into, like, that whole galactic war thing between Lemuria and Atlantis, and you can believe it or not, but how I've always tied it into, excuse me, was Sumerian, like, Mesopotamian Anunnaki. How could you? I made that correlation. Samantha, Sammy Sam, Sister Sam made that correlation. Because again, as I've mentioned, I studied the Bible. Well, I would like to study all religious texts, but usually Bible in my world would be the first one I went to. So you come across that, like, how can I correlate clearly? If you're if you're a truth seeker, you're gonna come across the Anunnaki, right? I mean, ancient astronaut theorists, they say, yes, you would. You will come across the Anunnaki. I've always been iffy about the Anunnaki because, I don't know, just like the whole genetic manipulation of DNA. I never, like, I was iffy with it. Although I will say, is it possible, I put myself in those shoes, being, I've mentioned that mad scientist archetype before, okay? So I'm not against Anunnaki. I just, for the longest time, I was, because why wouldn't I be? Do you know? Some of you know. But, so, I mentioned the Val thing, but just of recent, like, as of late, when Samantha Atori was doing research on Samantha Atori, learning about, like, guys, my genetic, like, I would go to, like, I have evidence of this all. Like, I would go to, is it like Seek You, or whenever I would Google my name and it would show, like, who's looking me up, like, it would show locations of, like, people looking me up. Dude, every weird ass location would be, like, where there's major labs. Okay? So, like, why are these people in Marseille 13, France looking up Samantha Atori? Like, there was always some kind of lab connection to it, and I started getting pissed. I'm like, well, clearly, and I've mentioned the WikiTree thing. I'm clearly people are interested in my fucking genetic makeup, okay? And you want to talk about black magic? I mean, that is part of black magic, guys. What you would call is just science. Science kind of has a part, because, think about it. Why, when you have the whole, the voodoo priest, they have, like, a piece of your hair and all this. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they need a part of you to do this stuff? Because it has to do with science. I'm not saying science is bad per se, but I'm, again, like, information, if given in the wrong hands, Hitler, it can be very bad. It be no-nos, big no-nos against humanity. So I started feeling a way about me, Samantha Atori, because I'm seeing, like, the fuck, like, clearly somebody's interested in my genetic makeup, and it's fucking creepy, okay? Now, I've mentioned this whole thing that I've already known about Lemuria and Moo, and I started piecing, again, if you just listen to song lyrics, guys, they're all over the place. I mean, listen to song lyrics and they all talk about it, okay? They all talk about this. And it's wrong. I'm sorry. To keep people's past from them and then blame them for being terrible seems like an oxymoron. There's something unfair in that, don't you think? Where people don't even know their real past, and then how are they supposed to live out their destiny if they're not living, they don't know who they are? It seems a little unfair, don't you think? So, white, black, yellow, orange, whatever. I'm starting to see, like, not cool. I mean, to say the least. So this whole racial draft, guys, I don't know, was that like, again, let me mention this. So when I got to this, like, the reason I started feeling attacked was because I had posted, I think back in November, I think it was November, December. If you go on my Facebook, go to my cover photos, you'll see I posted a picture of a griffin. And I put in the description, I put, can't spell you, Y-O-U, without you, capital U, which is the gold, okay? It's gold, all right? The divine feminine principle in alchemy, chemistry, sure, but alchemy we're talking it's the divine feminine principle. I'll get into that maybe some other time. I don't know if I don't. So instantly, I mean, I'm talking maybe 3 minutes. I've mentioned George Budd. George Budd calls Joe on Joe's phone and is like, he says something like, "Oh, can you put Sam on, put me on speaker, I gotta ask Sam something." And Joe does. And he's like, "Yeah, are you going to sing a song at Christmas time or something like that?" And instantly I had like terrible vibes. I'm like, is this a threat? It sounds like a threat, because he said something like, "Because I'll have to get my instrument and clean it," or something in that regard. So I was like, I think I said, no, what did I think I said something about Frank Sinatra, "Have yourself a merry little Christmas." Because I'm like, did I get myself, this is like the beginning of being in the crossfire, the real crossfire of the brother and brotherhood, and like for me, Samantha, because now I'm feeling threatened. And however the conversation transpires, and Joe hangs up, and I'm like, I think George Budd was just threatening me. I think. Or he was like, again, I'm still not sure if I'm cool with the brotherhood. So I'm like, because again, I'm thinking we believe kind of the same thing as far as like Nephilism and things like that go. And I don't know, guys. That was a huge, beyond flag. I mean, that was like a threat, I feel, Yeah, are you going, I mean, like I said, it wasn't even probably 3 minutes that I posted that. So that what does that put in my head, guys? That puts like, oh shit, this you thing is serious, like, I was just doing it for the justice, the whole justice aspect for Samantha Atori. Okay. So, like, yeah, that I would say was like kind of the beginning of the end for me, because that put me, I mean, that's when I started seeing, guys, like how racist some of you fucking are on like Facebook and shit. I'm sorry. Just like, you think I wasn't seeing like comments and things that you think you're being slick, but you're not, because you're not on my level. All right, get on my level, as Yellow Wolf told you. Get on my level, because you're not fucking slick. I saw a lot of the racist shit. And frankly, let's get to this racial drafting. And well, first let's get to Nancy or Nanshi, because I mentioned the whole Anunnaki thing and how I was kind of never like with it, because anybody can get it. It's called a starseed origin birth chart. And I could share the lady's info who I got it from. Her chart explained my origins are from Lyra. Okay, and then I went to Orion, and then I went to Hades, or Hyades, however you want to pronounce it, which is the eye of the bull, right? It's the constellation of Taurus. So, Hades, Hyades, and then I incarnated here into Earth, okay? How that corresponds to the Anunnaki is that the Anunnaki aren't just from one place, okay? They are, it would be like saying the United Nations, basically, United Nations aren't a race or like nationality of peoples. They're a mix of peoples from Earth, right? That's how the Anunnaki is. I started to understand that because I was always like, Lyra, I'm from Lyra, and like, no Anunnaki, but it's part of it. This is the truth. You can choose to believe it or not. You should have stopped listening to me. Well, you should be off my channel if you don't believe any of this stuff. I don't know how many times I gotta tell you. It's not Tweeter talk, okay? You fucking weirdos. But how I relate to Nancy is, how could I not? It's like, guys, again, I've mentioned the whole Lemuria thing. The Igigi, they don't talk about that a lot in Sumerian or Mesopotamia history. And the Igigi are the ones who, okay, I don't know if I should get into this now, but how can I not relate to Nanchi or Nancy, however you want to pronounce it? So how I came across her was through a tarot reading where the lady will pull cards on a spirit. It's a spirit that relates to the video of each reading. And it happened to be Nancy or Nanchi. I like saying Nanchi, so I don't know, but how can I not relate to her? How could I not? And as far as like Enki being her spiritual father, like in charge of her destiny, yet Enlil is her father, and she kind of helps him get fish. I mean, guys, look up Nancy, all right? Nanshe. I personally would say to go to the Mesopotamian mythology. That seems to resonate more with me than the Sumerian, but you get the gist of Nancy. How could I not? And then you look at who her husband, like, guys, look up Nancy. So again, whatever. But so this racial draft thing. So I start posting things and talk about, like I said, how the roaches, they expose themselves. You flick the light on and they expose themselves. Because here Samantha the Tory is just embracing like the spirit of Nancy and like getting pissed for all these injustices she's seeing. And then people are getting mad. It's like, why are you getting mad that I think I'm Nancy? It's like, again, I'm more powerful. I must be more powerful than I thought. Like, what? Guys, it's called you're thinking like your noggin logging, log into your noggin, okay? Like, go outside, take a breath of fresh air and come back. Like, again, you think I didn't see like your racist bullshit, and this is coming from now still Samantha Tory, who is seeing herself as white and seeing like, are people really that fucking racist? Like, are you fucking kidding me? How disgusting. It's disgusting. Not to mention, when you realize the history of racism and all of that, or just the history of Moo, the gall, the fucking gall, you coveters. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to explain it to people who don't. I don't know how to explain. I'm not a sociopath or a psychopath, so I don't know how to fucking explain to you how that's fucking wrong. Okay, but it is. And when we got to this racial draft thing, that's I mean, I still don't know if that was like MK Ultra or what. But this racial, I don't think it was. I don't think it was totally fake, because I was seeing like people responding on YouTube and Facebook about it. So I don't think it was. But I have to say, like, all of the fucking cheating and little slick fucking like traps that I wasn't trying to be racist against one or the other guys, black or white, if that's what it comes down to calling it. But I was seeing a lot of fucking not violations and just disgrace from a particular side, okay? And should that mean that Samantha Tory herself go into that line of punishment with them because that is what she is? Samantha Tory would have more than happily done so, because how disgusting some of the things she was finding. So call it Nancy, call it Samantha Tory, I don't know, but I was seeing a lot of just disgrace. You know, I don't know what else to tell you. I've always joked, like, you know, I've never seen Italian people as like fully white, you know, which is why that song, this person, celebrity whom I've, you know, gone into battle with or whatever, you know, has a song called Half Italian, which is how I got led to him, okay? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Again, I don't know. Some probably do. Some probably don't. And talk about Nephilism and stuff real quick. That's the reason I commented on his page, guys. I wasn't trying to like be with anybody to that extent until it got pushed upon me. I only commented about the goat and the leopard they lay down because I was letting the brothers know, or any brother know, like, guys, you don't have to you don't have to do this anymore. Does this make sense to you guys out there? Do you understand? I was trying to grace them with a little bit of biblical knowledge that they claim to fall behind, but then don't actually read. And if they had just read the Bible, they would know we don't have to do all this anymore, guys. This is like, it doesn't have to come to this. But, you know, that's how they are. That's what sneaky and manipulative. Like, I don't know. I'm going to end it here because now I'm just like, I hope this makes sense to somebody out there. Well, I'll see how it's received and maybe continue some other time. So, good night, good day. I don't want to offend any colors. I mean, I'm right. I'm neutral, baby. I just, you know, I'm right in the gray, good gray.